if you were wondering whether Nicholas Füllkrug is going to start against Brighton Hove Albion later on today, then we got a little bit of a hint from Julen Lopetegui in his pre-match press conference. He was very complimentary about Füllkrug. First of all, he said, I think Füllkrug, he's had an injury for 3 months. It was very unfortunate for him and for us, but he's recovered the rhythm. He's ready to be a part of the demanding Premier League. He's getting better step by step, and I assure you, he's going to become a very important and experienced player for us. The team is going to need him. Great. So he's starting then, right, Julen? Maybe not. He said sometimes people only put focus on the starting lineup. But in today's football, the players on the bench have the same, if not more important sometimes. They're the ones who can come on and change a game, and they're part of the squad. I think that's telling us that Füllkrug isn't going to start. Sorry, this is not going to be a squeak-free zone today for this video. The dog is in here. He has got... He's got squeaky toys, he's got balls, he's got bones, if you pardon the expression, and he's got antlers. Not Rudolph's children. Don't worry about that. Well, I say don't worry about that. There's someone's antlers, so someone's not doing quite so well. Actually, no, they fall off, don't they? To be fair, deer antlers, they fall off naturally, and then new ones sprout up. At least I think that's how it works. Anyway, that's certainly the case with Father Christmas's reindeer. Let me assure you of that. Is it a big game today? Nah, not really. Don't think it is. But I do think it's... The longer Lopetegui goes on unbeaten run, the more I think he's going to be viewed as the manager for now. You're hearing a lot of the sentiment soften around him. I don't know if you noticed earlier on in the week. I wouldn't suggest that David Moyes was saying anything overly complimentary about Lopetegui. He was talking about West Ham. He was talking about the players at his disposal. But he did say that Lopetegui should probably be getting a little bit more time, and which I thought was a decent enough thing for him to do. I've been critical of Moyes since he left and the way he sort of handled the press, and so listen, if I'm going to criticise him, I can only do the right thing and praise him when I think he's done well, and I think it was the right thing to do. There was talk earlier on in the week about Moyes possibly getting a Southampton job, but it looks like that's a non-starter for now. And I don't know whose decision it was. Ultimately, you never know. You hear it's Southampton's decision, but I'm not entirely sure Moyes would go all the way down there to the south coast. Don't get me wrong, lovely place to live, but for someone he just moved back to his house, got his house in Cheshire, hasn't he? I'm not quite so sure. I still think Moyes has got his eye on that Everton job anyway. So today's game, Carlos Soler he's suspended, isn't he? We'll miss him. We will miss him. Now, I don't know if you've been have noticed, there's been a lot of talk over the past, not even last 24 hours, probably started up late yesterday afternoon, that we were gonna press ahead with talks with Paris Saint-Germain about making his deal permanent. Now, I always heard that the buyout clause, because obviously he's on loan at the moment, and it's an option. So we don't have an obligation, but it's an option to buy. I always heard it was £27 million, but it's been reported as €20 million. Well, that makes quite a difference, doesn't it? I definitely think that does make a difference in the scheme of things. I think he's done well, and I think, look, I think that the important thing to remember here is West Ham are not in a position where we have to rush this decision. And for that reason, I don't necessarily believe the transfer rumours. I don't think we're interested. I do think we are. But why would we necessarily insist now on ramping up negotiations? We don't have to. Things change in football, and things change pretty damn quickly, as we know. If you'd have asked me a month ago, then I would have said no. I'd have actually, in fact, I think I said on this very channel, can we explore options to send Soler back? Because he wasn't getting used. When he was getting used, it was on the left-hand side of midfield. He just didn't look like he was going to offer anything. Never mind the first team, offer anything to the squad at all. So I just thought there's just no point in us keeping this player. Fast forward a month, I think he has become sort of integral to the way that we play, particularly to give us some sort of semblance of control of the football in midfield. I think we were lacking two things in central midfield: athleticism and control of the football. We've got one of those, and that's the technique that Soler brings. But things can change again. I just don't see why we would have to make a decision now. Why make a decision now? start considering it in, I don't know, March, April, May, that sort of time. But at the moment, 20 million euros would seem like a decent fee, a decent price. We've actually been linked with De Ketelaere, who I think he actually scored. Did he score in Europe last week? I think he might have done. Anyway, looks like a really, really good player. We've been linked with him for 2 or 3 years, actually, but Liverpool linked with him as well. Yeah, that was the antler being dropped on the floor. That was Blitzer's antler, but I'm joking, being dropped on the floor. So today, look, no Soler. I'm not sure if it's a case of no Soler, no party, but it's going to make things a little bit more difficult. And it's a game that Lopetegui... Look, he's had a tough week. His dad passed away. His coaching staff have been taking training. He's back. Obviously, he's back because he's taken the press conference yesterday. So he's going to want to carry on. And it would... I do feel that there would be a real turning point if West Ham could beat Brighton. Definitely. Even a draw's okay. Look, that's what I'm feeling about this season now. We're not bad enough that we get relegated. I don't think we're good enough to trouble the top 10 at all. I really don't. I just can't see us changing that much. I think it'll be okay. I think in many respects a bit of a write-off season, which is why I think it's important. If the season is going to be a write-off, then let's start incorporating some of these youth players. That's for sure. Before I go any further, make sure you got your match bingo cards in for today. Look, most of you have downloaded it already. Go and check your account today. We've obviously got West Ham v Brighton is just one of the many bingo games, but it's £2 per play. But we've got it's 2 special offers actually. Deposit £10 and you get £20 worth of credits, or pay for 4 cards and you get the 5th one free if you don't know what Match Bingo is. Where you been? I've been watching Hammers chat, that's for sure. Match Bingo is basically like bingo, but rather than having numbers, you've got football. We've got stuff that happens in a football match. Throw-ins, goal kicks, corners, that type of thing. You've got to fill up your bingo cards. You do that, you win some money. You get money. First person to get the first line, first person to get the second line, and you get a full house as a bonus pot as well. Over 115 winners from you guys who have been playing this game since we've been doing it. The link's in the description below. Download the app. It is 18 and above, though, so don't forget that. But it is worth checking. I always say this. There's been a couple of times I've got into it. Oh, hold on a second. I've got £5 in here. I didn't realise I had that. Sometimes you've got some money in there. Sometimes you've got a little. One time I went in, I had a little cheeky £20 in there. I had a little win, and I didn't notice I had one. So go and check that out if you've got the app. Just worth checking to see if you've got any balance in the old kitty, so to speak. Todibo, we discussed him. Not a falling out, not fisticuffs. We discussed in the week. It was in fact a sore toe. That's possibly been sorted. I don't think he gets back in the team. I don't just think it's the toe. I think there's a situation whereby I'm not entirely sure that the Lopetegui fancies him massively. I thought that before there was the row. Then they have the row, and you think, no, this is just not going to happen, is it? I think you could make the case that quite possibly Soufal plays. I do think Lopetegui likes Wan-Bissaka at left back. I do actually. I prefer him at right back, but he might be the best right back and best left back at the club, Wan-Bissaka, which is not great, is it? But I guess But you know what, we're a lot better position than we were last season. But I want to see these youngsters. I want to see a little bit more Ollie Scholes. Want to see Casey. I'd love to see Orford in this game. I really would. I think if we saw Orford, then you'd be looking at sort of back-to-back games where you'd seen youngsters, and we'll have seen, all 3 that were in the matchday squad for last week. So that'd be very, very good. I'd definitely like to see that as well. He's going to start Bowen. I'm pretty sure of it. I thought he was going to do it anyway, but looking at his comments about how important substitutes are and maybe the people on the bench are more important. Come on, mate. But we'll cut Lopetegui slack, won't we, this week? But nobody believes that. Let's not pretend that if you're going to start Jarrod Bowen at centre forward that you think Nicholas, and you're going to start Fulkrug on the bench that you think Fulkrug's more important than Bowen. Give over. Who do you think you're kidding? Anyway, myself and Gio will see you an hour and 5 minutes before kick-off.